All right, let's call this meeting to order. Is it on the dot or is it one after?
Yeah.
6 p.m. All right. I guess we're doing roll call first now, which is not a change, actually. Fred.
Here.
Regina.
Here.
And Kyle, I am here. Lene.
Here.
Patrick.
Here.
And then we were informed the last two will not be joining us. Motion to approve their absences, please.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Adoption of formal agenda. Do we have any revisions, Louise? Or anyone else?
I will say that today, before the meeting, I did add some things. I don't know if you guys noticed. I got the financial report late, so I put that in today. This isn't anything that's changed, but just in case people are wondering. And I also added Adrian onto the agenda today because I neglected to do so before. So those are things that I did change today, if you all noticed.
Cool.
And Dr. Powell Wilson should be on there. Doctor.
Okay.
All right. Approval of minutes from.
Someone should move to yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
we need a motion for that.
Yep.
Who wants to do it?
I motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
Okay, now we can move to C, approval of minutes from last month. Anyone have things to point out?
I had a question, I gotta find it again.
Can you use your microphone, Fred?
I gotta find where I had the question. I tried to use a red pen on my phone and it didn't work very well. Let's see. Still looking. Oh. Help if I got to the minutes instead of the agenda. Sorry. Lene, do you have a paper copy there? Okay.
I have one. B, where am I? F, B. Walker should be capitalized.
Might have been corrected. I was wondering under F1, comment that I recommended Historic Preservation Commission to be active with connected neighborhoods. Could it be all neighborhoods? What do you mean by connected neighborhoods there? Just say with neighborhoods instead of connect, I guess. Connected neighborhoods. Aren't all neighborhoods connected?
I guess that brings up philosophical questions about whether or not all neighborhoods are connected. I think it's also, in my opinion, aligns itself with the complete neighborhoods sub-goal of the Imagine Kalamazoo Master Plan 2025. The connectivity between the neighborhoods is one of the things that we're striving for in that, and so is the completeness of neighborhoods. That might have been what was.
So you want to have the neighborhood have signed into that or gone into the complete neighborhoods protocol?
Yeah, so I guess if you want to clarify now for what you would like to be on record for saying underneath F1.
I guess I was going to drop connected.
Okay.
Just in it there, so, but
Yeah.
I understand now why you.
Yeah, and it is kind of a niche or special term, obviously, that comes from the planning documents that were created by the city.
Should you say connected with complete neighborhoods? I don't know. with the Complete Neighborhoods program.
Some more revisions would need to be made then, because it says be active with connected. However you would like it to be worded, or I can go back to the minutes and capture more accurately what was said there, or Heather and I can, so.
I don't remember exactly what I said, but I know I didn't talk about connected to that, but I do understand it, and I don't know if anybody else in the public would look at that and ask the same question. Probably not.
Fred, would it make sense from, or at least what you remember of what you said, to, like you said, just drop the complete neighborhood part and just say, or no, you said connected?
Yeah, with neighborhoods. Recommend historic preservation be active with neighborhoods, but that's, I get why you wouldn't want to say that, because the neighborhood has to reach out to us with the Complete Neighborhoods program.
I think that there's room for us to be connected with all neighborhoods, certainly. I think that obviously there's been more focus put onto neighborhoods with historic districts within them. Probably those are the areas that we have a longstanding relationship with, I think, dating back to the 1970s. That's not to say that we haven't been trying to open it up to areas through many efforts, like the granting program, like the CHW gift that we gave to neighborhoods that don't have historic districts within them. I think that's been one of the priorities of this group, especially over the last year. We can definitely go back to the recording, look it over, and drop the word connected there. So the minutes will reflect it better.
I had one other thing, or did my paper print? Why is H all the way on the separate page? Did it print? Oh, maybe mine just printed weird. Oh,
There might just be a page break in there.
oh, okay.
I don't make this anymore. It's just a computer generated thing. So there might have been a page break in it. It's a good place to write notes.
Helping us out. One other in B, white should be capitalized.
Okay.
And I'm Hibbard, not Hubbard.
Okay.
Not an old mother.
He's the chair now.
Yeah, that was something else I had written. I left my notes on the meeting minutes at home, but yeah, not there. Can you scroll down? So for A and B, they have different endings. Mine just says nomination was closed. It doesn't say that I was appointed chair, because I think should probably reflect, since this is like a record-keeping thing.
Okay.
All right. Anything else people want to point out on those? Gone. Motion to approve as amended, please.
I make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Were there any public comments? None reported, so we'll introduce our guest then. Adrian, would you like to come up and take the stand?
Do I also need to speak into the microphone? Hi, my name is Adrienne Waller. I am with the Edison Neighborhood Association, and we are looking to make Washington Square a National Historic Area. And I am just starting the process. Louise has helped with stuff thus far, giving me resources that have been already found, and I just wanted to bring that before the committee, that I'm working on this.
Number one, I love your glasses.
Thank you
Also,
so
number
much.
two, it's very exciting. Do you have, so when you say Washington Square, I'm assuming there's a bounds set. So
There
what
is.
does
I
that
have brought a
encompass?
map.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you, Louise. Can I?
Yeah. Well, you know. Are you good if I pass it down? Okay, perfect. Thank you. And so while we look at it, so
Yes.
everybody's not just staring at me, what waiting for the map. What started you on this process?
Well, I've worked at the Edison Neighborhood Association for 5 years now, 4.5, 5 years. And I also own a business in the area, also in Washington Square. And it's beautiful, historic, but it's kind of unrecognized, getting run down, kind of a combination of the two as being a historic district. So other than the library is very highly lauded as being historic library, but other things in Washington Square, in Edison as a whole, are kind of not seen so much, like the commercial corridor that was through there had been run down and kind of overrun with the adult store that was there previously. And then after that left, there has been kind of a resurgence in businesses coming in, but it's not quite there yet. And I just want to.
And what is your goal, what is your end goal with getting it registered?
More eyes on it, more eyes on the area.
Are you going to put a plaque on it, or what do you?
I don't know that part yet. I don't know
okay.
exactly yet. I'm just wanting to make it historic, to have it recognized as historic.
I think the important distinction to be made too is that Adrian has brought this to us looking to make this area a National Register of Historic Places, multiple resource area nomination. So the things that we generally associate with plaques is at the Michigan level. That's where you get the green plaque from. Those are certainly nice. The National Register plaques, I have not seen many of. They are small brown rectangles, or like bronze-colored rectangles that you hang. And speaking yesterday with Adrian about this, and also speaking with her a couple months ago, last year at some point, that's not saying a lot now because we're only in March, and also with Stephen, the executive director of the Edison Neighborhood Association. They're in a very fortunate position because of the Kramer Design Group survey that was conducted recently within the Edison neighborhood, which means that every single building in the Edison neighborhood has already been documented, and an architectural inventory form has already been completed for each of those, every building, but that means of these two. That's a lot of the legwork of the beginning of doing this that's already taken care of. Furthermore, I think that a lot of us know that Washington Square has long been a second kind of downtown to the city of Kalamazoo for a very long time. So that comes as no surprise to me at all. Thirdly, I'd say that, looking for the national level of nomination does not impose any regulations upon it at the local level. It's largely honorary, but what it does do is open up businesses and properties that are included within that scope to the availability of using the federal tax credit. So to me, that's a wonderful opportunity to be able to recognize an area that we've been looking at for so long, while also open it up to those financial possibilities. As Adrian said, it also does give people across the entire country and the world potentially to be able to, the opportunity to be able to read about it if a nomination was written. I think that that's a tangible benefit. Everyone might not think it is, but once it gets published online, that's a great resource for people to be able to have. Not to haul all this away from you, but
No.
speaking with her yesterday, I told her that it would be smart, I think, to set out some boundaries so you can start to know ahead of time, like, where do we want to focus these efforts? We also talked about the scope of work, and it is large, so at least setting out the boundaries is a great start, and that's what this map reflects, is where she wants to look, and the Edison Neighborhood Association want to concentrate their efforts for this nomination on Washington Square.
Yes.
The earliest buildings, what's the dates? What are the dates we're talking about when Washington Square was built?
Give me 1 second. I do have.
Like the library, you said the library was a major
The
recognized
library
building.
is, hold on, I actually have most of my paperwork on me, and I don't have those.
I want to say the library is 1927, so it's the oldest continuously operating library within the city of Kalamazoo, but it's by no means at all the oldest building in Washington Square. Just a guess, and I'm sure that you
I
have it, but I
know,
want to say the late 1800s.
I was going to say, I know the 1030 Portage, which is now included in Washington Square and wasn't before, was early. We found a couple of different dates, but we found 1912 and 1923 as the start of that. So a couple of conflicting, and I know they built on it at different times, and it's.
My guess is the trolley line would have connected it and been the major impetus for it growing or being significant commercial district. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. But you were asking what the oldest building is?
Well, I don't need to, I just was curious, I have an idea now what decades
Yes.
we're talking about.
Okay. But yes, I wanted to, as I'm trying to start this with the help of Luis, with the help of Kramer, like, that's been a huge help. And no, I'm loving this. This is awesome to find more about the area that I've worked at and own a business in, and the pictures are amazing.
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Let us know if we need to, if we can help. Anyway.
Okay. I'm still getting my bearings with all of this, so I appreciate that a lot.
So I'm technically rotating off of the commission, but in my day job, I work at the Kalamazoo Valley Museum. I'm the collections manager there.
Okay.
So if you need help from like a research standpoint, or you've probably gone to KPL potentially, it's a central branch to local history, or if not.
I do know where to look at there.
Okay, yeah, and
So-
Western Archives potentially too, or with
Okay.
us, I'm thinking about images or any sort of tracing you'd want to do that way. I can give you my card if you want.
Yes,
And
please.
that'll be easier. But no, it's very exciting. And so at this point, it sounds like you're early
Very.
stage kind of compiling information sort of a thing?
Very early days,
Yeah.
compiling information, still compiling media. I'm hoping to, I don't know the person's name, but the person who posts on Facebook, the postcard a day.
Oh, is it David Corman? Yeah.
Is it, okay. I found some photos, because I've been through the KPL, what they have, like photos
Yeah.
of Washington Square in that area, and I found a couple in the vintage postcard a days that have gone up that I'm like, I've never seen that picture before, ever. So that's been interesting, so I'm hoping to also talk to that person, get some more photographs.
Collectively, we know him too, so he's a
I
past
figured
commissioner.
if anyone
Yeah.
would, you all would, yes. So-
Yeah, that's great. Do you, this is more of a curiosity, does the Washington Square Library, are there local history area resources that they've kept just kind of documenting the area, or is that kind of?
I have not talked to Steve
Yeah.
about it much.
That's
'cause
more
again, I'm
just I'm curious, sort of
Yeah.
a thing if those exist.
I would not be surprised, but it's not one that I had addressed with him yet.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'll grab my card. Not you keep going, but.
is there anything else that I need to address or say or answer any questions for?
Doesn't look like it, but
Okay.
thanks for bringing this to our attention. And yeah, we're here when you need us.
That works. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you can just feel free to contact me if you have questions and stuff. And I think that if people are willing to do any research work or anything, they can be in touch with me or with Adrian as well, and we can help as capacity allows.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm assuming your contact is probably on the ENA website.
Yes, correct. It's, I mean, I can.
You don't have to
bring any
state it on record,
cards.
but.
Bring any cards.
All right, thank you,
so
Adrian.
much.
All right, next up, that financial report that we were missing last month, please.
Yeah, and like I said, I included this today because it came in a little bit late and I forgot about it, and so I put it in today. Hopefully, because we are starting the new year and everything, this will give us some chance to evaluate this with clarity. We started off with $8,000 this year. The only expense that we've incurred thus far was the expense that's already been allocated out for the food at the window workshop, so $114.46. That's pretty easy to keep track of right now. Once the instructor gets paid out, that'll come out of there as well. There's not a lot that's gone on this early, so it's still relatively straightforward.
I like the percent used column. I don't remember that from before. Was it just always cut off? All right, anyone have questions on this? Okay. Oh, Fred?
That percent used column, is that percent of the total budget or percent of what's allocated for that item?
I would have to assume that the percent that's reflected in each column is the part of that column. Would be my guess, because it makes sense that 1.91 is about that percent of 6,000 and about that percent of 8,000.
Yeah, it's just of the line of the individual budget category.
Okay.
Calculated it.
Okay. If there's nothing else on that, we'll turn it over to, I'm guessing, Regina for the Reservation Public Education Committee report.
Sorry, your last line got cut off.
Yeah, I was going to ask about why there was a double strike through on that.
Like
Oh, I don't know. On
the
the
page
final
break
one.
thing that came up when I was making it, and I don't know. It'll
I
be
wrote too,
rectified.
I wrote
next
too
time.
much or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
It's punishing me.
Twitter posts only.
Yeah, there's not a lot other than to say that I'm kind of getting things regrouped. There were some tribal and other obligations that Lakota and others had towards the beginning of this year that meant that we kind of couldn't get a meeting together, but I know since I am rotating off, I'm still fine with seeing the project through to the end, in part just because I've now been working with Lakota for quite a few years, so I'm fine with doing that. If everyone is okay with me doing that, I'll still send reports in with updates and, do it in this way, in our new snazzy, and I'll write less so it doesn't double strike through me in the next one. But yeah, so it is still ongoing, and we're pretty close to getting it at KPL, and I'll get it done. It's a promise.
Thank you. Long time coming, and we appreciate you sticking with it.
You're welcome.
All right, what's next? Go down to the next one.
Next is a report that was written by Pam regarding Historic Preservation Month. I think that Pam is still out of town right now, or else I'm sure that she would be here with us to present it. But I'll go ahead and read it in her absence, or kind of give you guys the cliff notes of it. This is for tonight's meeting. She said that the committee met on 12/9/2022, and I'm sure that that's a Preservation Month committee, and did the best to assemble a timeline of what needs to be done by whom and when for our Parducci and possible Cayman presentations. Going down, Pam has struck through the things that have already been done, but the things that we need to do in the future are prepare and send save the date notices, create a brochure, mail out the brochure 3 times, and then we'll have the Guardians of Michigan event on May 18th. We are on target for our production schedule. All items with a cross through above have been accomplished. And then it says that Pam is gone January 28th through March 14th of 2023, and Sarah Tripp is gone February 13th through March 1st of 2023. Just to jog everyone's memory regarding what this is for an author to come to Kalamazoo to highlight some of the architectural sculptures that were highlighted, that were featured in the book Guardians of Michigan. So I think it's a cool opportunity that we had some sculptures here in the city and that they're going to be highlighted through a tour. I looked through the pictures online I looked through a list, I suppose, online of the properties that are listed, and I think it's the courthouse, the county courthouse, City Hall, and then the Kalamazoo Gazette building, which is cool that Parducci worked on some of those as well. Sculptor that worked largely in Detroit, and I'm glad that we have something like this that can happen in Preservation Month.
And all the remaining work to be done was with Sarah, who's the AIA rep for this project, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I need to double check with Pam to see if the money's already been allocated for all this, because I'm not sure who's going to do this printing and this mailing, and to whom we will be sending it, but that's an expense that we'll need to figure out if it's something that we are to be taking on.
Definitely. Never mind. Well, we haven't set a date for rewards, or we need to do that too as part of the month.
Did the awards nomination stuff go out, or TBD? Because I remember you said there was a lot of stuff after the ice.
I'll touch on that if there's no more
Okay.
questions. My report. But if there's more questions about the Guardians of Michigan stuff, I'm happy to.
Technically, we have discussion and action items between, but then, yeah.
True, yeah.
We can still put out the call in case there are. Any other discussion or action items? No? Okay, Louise.
So I'll start with what we were just talking about first. The call for Historic Preservation Awards of Merit did go out. I could look through my email to see which day it was, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say the beginning of this week. That'll be open through the end of this month. I have not set a date yet for the actual award ceremony. I think it's a good cap for the end of Preservation Month, so I would prefer that it's towards the end of May, obviously. But I always forget about some holidays in May. The last week of May is only 3 days of a business week this year, 29, 30, and 31, and 29 is Memorial Day? Is that right? Okay. So I don't think that it would be wise for us to do it then that week unless you guys think otherwise.
What's the date again?
So I would do it as far away from Monday as I could. To keep it in May, that would be the 31st of May, which is on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
To me, it symbolically caps the month nicely because it'd be on the last day, but I don't want people to not be able to attend because of holiday plans that they have. So the alternate choice then becomes the 24th of the month.
Oh, okay, right.
previous
You
Wednesday.
wanted, yeah, because people are out of town that week, the following week, Memorial Day week,
Yeah,
the 31st.
because 29, I know that people would have off. I honestly don't, you're right. And I think we'd be gambling if we did it that. So 24 is probably the safer bet.
The, I was trying to think of what Stuart's doing with that. I think that's mostly in March, coming up here next week. Something's ringing a bell. We got something in May, but
And although, I mean, I can go ahead and double check with all the calendars too. That's just where my head was at it.
Does it have to be on a Wednesday?
No, it could be any of those days. I think that it would be smart for us not to hold these on a Friday either.
I think in the past we've done it Thursday
Okay.
at the latest.
Yep.
For that same reason. And
Yeah.
if we're heading into the holiday weekend,
Yep.
people are probably going to take Friday off to, take advantage, or, potentially, so.
And it doesn't have to be at the end. I just thought that was a cool thing because this is kind of our flagship event for Preservation Month, so.
I mean, I don't object, I just asked a question.
No, yeah.
24th is fine.
If we need to go back further though, we can. If there's conflicting events or if there's other things that are going on throughout the city, we can certainly do that.
So we'll pin it as tentative and double check.
Yep. What this does mean, however, that next month we will be voting on them.
So we
Just
need to
something to
figure out
think
if KNAC is available
That's one potential.
or one
Yeah.
place.
That would be one potential venue, yeah. And if other people have other suggestions, I'm more than welcome to entertain them as well. I do think that it should be a pretty central location, to me, just because it, downtown being the shared space for all neighborhoods, if you will, so we could have it in a centralized location, so.
Next topic?
Yeah, sweet. I also put down that we'll be having training in April, so our entire meeting will probably be dedicated to those two items, I'm guessing. Some sort of training orientation for Historic Preservation Commission, and then the voting of the things, the Historic Preservation Awards of Merit. So just keep a lookout for that stuff. I'll be sending things out to you. We'll also need to be putting out a call for a new member because Regina Gorham will be off of the commission after this meeting. This is her last meeting. Thank you very much for being with us for so long and serving as chair and vice chair and just the amount of time that you've been on. So it's very appreciated and we are sad to see you go. So thank you for the time that you've given to this commission and to the community in that capacity. She'll still be in town, so people can still visit her at the museum as well, so. But with that being said, we will need to start looking for a new commissioner to fill the spot that she will leave on the commission. I will be in touch with the communications folks here at the city to see if they can put out a call for commissioners, and then as those applications come in, what I've been doing is going out and speaking, well, at least for the HDC, speaking with the applicants in, I guess, a interview type situation, and then having them come in so you all can ask them questions as well before we vote on appointing them to the board. So just things that I think are on the horizon for us as the commission. Moving along, it's the beginning of the year still. That has not stopped people from working on projects in the Historic District Commission realm of things. Surprisingly, it's been almost the inverse of last year when I didn't have any Historic District Commission cases for the first 2 months of the job. This time, we've had 8 cases in the first 2 months, so it's been a good clip of projects. I'm glad that people are starting to I would interpret it as planning and getting ready for the working weather as we come forward. So there have been no administrative reviews without a building permit, 1 administrative review with a building permit, and like I said, 8 HDC hearings, which is always cool that people are coming to the meetings, in my opinion. Still moving along with the Historic District Standards and Guidelines update. We had the first meeting in February on the 13th of that month, so we met after that anyways last month. I have a survey that's up online right now. You can find it on the Imagine Kalamazoo Historic District Standards and Guidelines page. Also, if that doesn't work, you can reach out to, or if you can't find it on there, reach out to me and it will work. But if you guys can't find it on there, if you're having trouble or can't remember what I just said, you can reach out to me and I'll send you the link to it and you guys can take it that way. That's just to get feedback for me as I continue to write this. I want to make sure that I'm hearing what people have to say about that.
Kind of along those lines, I've heard from SHPO that they are starting to review the applications for 2022 tax credits. Yes.
Also along those lines, I don't know if that means that the 2023 one is still open or not. I have not received any paperwork for it thus far. So go ahead and apply if you live in a residential building within a local or National Register Historic District. 25% tax credit on Michigan taxes for qualified expenses. So I think that's a good program.
Wasn't it only open for like a week last year?
Last year, the commercial portion was only open for a matter of hours. The residential one was open for 2 weeks, roughly.
And in terms of locally, I'm just curious, I know Sharon kind of prided the percentages of how many administrative approvals versus actual reviews happened. Do you foresee it flip-flopping back that direction over time?
The amount of administrative reviews versus the ones that go to the HDC? I don't know. Initially, when I started this and I would talk with Sharon, I think that we both foresaw that some more things are going to be going to the commission because of my newness to the role. I think that there's also differing interpretations of the standards and guidelines that'll happen. The approval rating last year was still very high. I think 97% of projects were approved in totality. I think that as the weather gets warmer, those numbers are going to go up substantially. I don't know off the top of my head, but there were like 60 administrative reviews last year as opposed to I want to say 30 cases over the year. And a lot of those come from things that are like roofs, porch repairs, roofs. That's a very large part of it. I think you'll see that obviously right now there's a lot more. It's an 8-to-1 ratio for HDC cases to administrative, and I think that that'll certainly level out as the year goes on, but I'm not sure what the future will hold for the amounts of cases that need to go to the HDC. Sorry for the long-winded answer.
No, thank you. Is there a point at which we need to worry about how much they can handle, or?
No, other communities do instate rules about how many cases are allowed to be on any one hearing. So that's an interesting notion. I think that Grand Rapids does 4 or 5 and they cap it at that. Last year we had one in this community that was 6 cases long. So I appreciate that concern because I think that fatigue with looking at these things is certainly something to consider, but if it starts to concern me, then I will look at that more closely.
Is there recourse for there's people doing stuff that has not been approved?
Yes.
I just see it happening quite a bit, and I know they have not sought approval.
Yeah. There is violations can be filed for people when they haven't got approval. Last year, someone conducted a project without getting approval. It was not deemed to be worthy of a certificate of appropriateness. It went to the Historic District Commission, and the Historic District Commission told them they needed to revert it to the way that it was before the work was conducted. So there are avenues to do that. There are violation avenues, certainly.
Patrick, did you have a date when SHPO opens up the tax credit for 2022? Did you give?
I don't know about 2023. 2022, I had applied back when it opened, and then it's taken them this long to get to the point where they are reviewing the applications that were
What's the review for
in
that?
2022. Yep, they're reviewing those applications.
Okay.
This one opened up at some point in January. I want to say January 21, and I reached out to the heads of neighborhoods. SHPO announced it on a Friday, so it must have been the 21st. So maybe in reality, it was like the 24th when it actually opened, and I didn't have time to send out a mass mailing to everyone. And I don't have everyone's email address, so I reached out to the heads of the neighborhoods to let them know that it was opening, that the tax credit was opening. I always just tell people too, just checking on the Michigan SHPO website is the place where the most up-to-date information is. If you just type Michigan SHPO into Google, it'll be one of the first hits. And their tax credit program is prominently displayed on the website, so it's also something that you can look at. The instructions for application are also on that website, so I'm always here to help with stuff, and I believe that I am one of the necessary steps in the process as well of validating the location of the historic district that the property is located with. Our questions along the way, feel free to reach out.
Yep.
Does that conclude your report?
It does.
All right, then all we have left is if there are additional commissioner comments.
I'll just make one
Final comments?
final comments. No, I just wanted to say that I haven't served with all of you, but I've served with all of you for all of your time now, and it's been a pleasure working with you, and kind of like Luis said, with the work that we've done over this past year, I'm really looking forward to see what happens going forward. I think there's a lot of good ideas happening, and I think we're closer than maybe we think we are to implementing and kind of getting to next steps with some of them. So look forward to that, and thank you also to you, Luis. It's been fun serving now with two different people in the post, and I've appreciated your efforts to reorganize and wrangle some things that will make it easier for all of us. So I've appreciated that too. So that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Reno.
Won't be the same without you. But we'll still be in touch for sure.
Yeah, like you said, you know where I work.
And then I was just going to mention that he's not here, but hopefully you and Ryan and I can figure out a subcommittee date. We'll work on that soon for Grave Squad.
Yeah, and I think just a new leadership summit as well, or something, so we can get together. He's the vice chair, you're the chair, just to talk if you guys want to. Ryan didn't come to the chair lunch that we had. So we can probably do both of those things at once, if we can get a Grave Squad issues thing put together, and then a leadership meeting as well, just to talk over any questions that he might have or that you might have about procedural things.
Sounds good. And then you said, or was noted, I think somewhere about the upcoming training, right?
Yep. So,
something else to look forward to. Anybody else? No. All right, can we get a motion to adjourn, please?
I
Motion
move
to adjourn.
Patrick got it.
Oh, who called it? Good luck noting that one. All right, thanks, everybody.